Well, welcome to this example of an interspiritual practice and prompt, which is representative of the kinds of things we regularly do in our practices and prompts gatherings. In this practice, Kevin will be introducing 3 texts and a painting all around the shared theme of compassion for our enemies. However you understand enemies or people who are maybe hard to love for you right now. And these are drawn from 4 different spiritual heritages. And we will invite you to pause and to reflect, allowing those texts in the painting to really speak to you. And then we'll follow that by introducing a creative prompt, so you're able to respond and express those initial feelings and insights and intuitions as a way of integrating your spirituality and your creativity.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. So as we get started with that, and before we look at these 4 sources of creativity and spirituality, I want to actually encourage us just to actually take a moment to get settled as we're getting ready. If you need to pause the recording or the video to do that, please do, and just to just get settled. Take 3 deep breaths. We'll even do that right now. Yeah, and then just really even say out loud, I am receptive. I'm here to receive. And then perhaps pause again. Now, let me introduce these 4 friends that we're going to be engaging with in our time together. The first is this painting, which depicts an event told in the Mahabharata in which the divine being Indra felt disrespected by his devotees in a certain village, but then recognized and relinquished that resentment when Lord Krishna intervened in compassion to rescue the villagers. The second resource we're looking at and drawing from is a saying of Jesus in what's called the Gospel of Luke. Love your enemies, do good to them, lend to them without expecting to be repaid. Then you'll truly be acting as children of the Most High, who is kind to those who are unthankful and mean-spirited. Be compassionate, just as God, who loves like a tender father, is compassionate. This next text comes from the Quran. Perhaps God will put affection between you and those whom you consider your enemies. God has the power to do this and is forgiving and merciful. And then finally, a text that comes from the Lojong 8 Verses of Thought Transformation, which was written in the 11th century. As a whole, the 8 verses are meant to help the practitioner, like you and I, move from self-centeredness to a heart of compassion. We're going to draw from just the 4th of those 8 verses. Whenever I see sentient beings who are wicked in nature and overwhelmed by negative actions and heavy suffering, I hold such rare ones dear, as if I had found a precious treasure.
So now, with these 4 different texts and visual piece, I just want to invite you to reflect on your own heart posture. How do you find yourself responding to those who you might consider enemies or just hard to love? Or what emotions are surfacing for you right now? And how are you responding to those emotions as they come up? Are you at peace thinking about compassion for your enemies? Or are there places where you're resistant? And if so, why? And does one of these quotes or the painting resonate most with you? Sit with the feelings that emerge for you. And you might want to pause the video at this point to spend as much time as you need right here.
Well, and welcome back to those of you who may have paused and stepped away and taken some time with this. What we want to do now is invite you to intuitively respond to capture what might be stirring in you as you have reflected on that painting, the text, and some of Stephen's questions as we reflected. And this could take the form of written response. Write down words and phrases that capture the feelings and emotions, the imagery that might come to mind as an intuitive response to the practice. What kinds of situations or metaphors are connecting for you? What do they look like, smell like, sound like? How does it feel in your body? Does it feel closed off, open, uneasy, anxious, etc.? It could take the form of visual art, draw, paint, color, scribble, mold clay or something to express the feelings and the images and the scenes, the emotion of your intuitive response to the practice. Use whatever colors, textures, or pacing that matches the energy and the emotion you feel, even if you can't explain it. You may also have some specific images and concepts come to mind that you want to include. Just allow your creative self to express its response in whatever visual form it wants to, as it were. It may take the form of music, song. Uh, are there chord progressions that you might be feeling or hearing? Riffs, melodies that are coming to your mind and heart. And it could take the form of physical movement, dance, for example, to move and explore your responses to the practices that, or to this practice specifically, in a more embodied way. And then after you have taken some time to do that, and again, if you want to pause and come back to this, we invite and encourage you to do that. Begin to think what you might want to do with whatever you've made or begun to make. Do you have a particular response, emotionally or conceptually, that emerged in this initial creative expression that you want to capture and work further with? Is there a situation that this practice brought to mind where you or someone else is actually wrestling with how to maintain compassion in a specific relationship or situation? Or is there a way that you want to apply insight from this practice to real world events?
As you sit with each of these questions, we hope this has been helpful for you in forming a more compassionate and creative life. And so we invite you to join us in our weekly online practice and prompt gatherings as a way of experiencing more practices, more prompts, community conversations, our monthly art shares, all aimed at deepening our creative and spiritual lives together. We hope to see you there.